Grand Rising, everyone. So, after yesterday, when I was trying to figure out what was happening, why I was under such spiritual attack, revelation kind of just fell into my spirit, right? I'm like, Lord, what is this? And it just kind of hit me. Like, the Lord had asked me to do something a couple months ago. I don't remember when I did it, but it was a little while ago. And it had to deal with my mom and my grandmother, who just passed away. They had a strained relationship. My parents got divorced, and it was like that, just normal stuff. It wasn't anything like outrageous, but they did have an argument, and they have never spoke to each other again. It had been years. But recently, me, my sister, and then my brother needed money to purchase our houses and stuff like that. So my sister ended up needing money to help, and then I ended up needing money to help, and my grandma just sent it. No problem. But then my brother, he was living with me, and he couldn't live with me anymore. He didn't have any money to go get an apartment and stuff like that. So my dad, because it was his mother, asked her to borrow the money. Or not borrow, we weren't paying anything back. Me and my sister offered to pay back the money, but my grandma, she wasn't having all that. Love her. She's just amazing. And so she sent the money to my dad to help my brother. And the men and the boys in my family, they don't necessarily say thank you. They don't say. My grandma was calling all over town, like, did he get it? Is he okay? Is he homeless? I'm like, Grandma, he's not homeless. He's fine. I will make sure he calls and says thank you. My brother doesn't do that. And so, with that, the message that I heard from the Lord was that my mom needed to call my grandma and say, hey, thank you for helping out my babies, like, my mom would have done it. My mom gives and gives and gives constantly, but she has to live her life too. She doesn't have it where she can just be like, okay, well, she would give her last if it was absolutely necessary, but it wasn't necessary for her to do all that. We were fine. But she has helped my brother out a lot, like more than anybody, thousands and thousands of dollars, because he just never seems to get right. And so that was the message that I gave her. So she basically was like, what's wrong with you? I'm not gonna do that, blah 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 type deal. I feel like in my spirit I was nice, and this is when my grandma was fine. Like, my grandma was still calling around, doing all the things she needed to do, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, I just said okay. I didn't say anything else. I didn't argue with her. She was like, I'm fine with my spirit. She did the whole rigmarole where she was going back and forth of how she was right in her spirit and she didn't do anything wrong. And granted, I know how my grandma can be, I understand, but my grandma wasn't like that to me because I'm her grandchild, not her daughter-in-law. Okay. So when it came to all of that other nonsense, that is not me. But I now have a mother-in-law, so I completely understand. Okay, I understand. And yes, my grandma maybe was not the nicest person to my mother. But I wasn't asking her. I didn't ask for an apology. Didn't tell her that she needed to do anything differently, that she needed to go be her best friend again. None of that. It was, the Lord said he wanted you to thank her, because she helped, and it was within like weeks of each other. I didn't know my sister was going to ask, and I didn't know my dad was going to ask for money for my brother when I asked. So when I had asked for some money for my family, then my sister had asked for money for her family, and then my dad had asked for my brother. It just happened within weeks of each other. She sent it. She had no problem. And so that's when the Lord was like, she needs to say thank you. That's it. No, she needs to apologize. She needs to get on her knees and beg for forgiveness. No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. The Lord knows. The Lord sees the struggles. He sees what you've been doing. But at some point in time, forgiveness is important. And you cannot harbor all this resentment in your heart. Okay. all this resentment in your heart. You have to just forgive. And my mom is not the type of person that she will hold a grudge for a minute. Like, I understand that it was years and years of my grandma and a kind of a tumultuous relationship and this and that, but at the end of the day, I was like, when my grandma started to decline and get older and she was falling, at some point what is it going to hurt you to just apologize, and so, or not apologize, to just say thank you. That's it. All you have to do is show gratitude. That's all he wanted. Say thank you. So there was a second part to that, and I kind of like brushed it off. It was like, if she didn't apologize, or if she didn't say thank you, I'm sorry. If she didn't say thank you, something was going to happen. Part of my warfare was coming from the fact that I didn't give her like the second part of the message, was something bad was going to happen. So I was catching the warfare because I wasn't completely obedient and didn't follow through with the second half of the message, because I won't say something bad, but like, there will be death if you cannot follow through with this. And it always led to her husband. I have a stepdad. Her husband was going to pass away if she didn't do what she was supposed to do. And so before my grandma passed away, she was like, well, I'm going to write a letter. I feel like I should just write a letter and send it. It could be a year from now. It could be whenever. And I just say, okay. When she wants to go and justify her salvation, I just say, okay. This is the hard part about having people. My mom knows the Lord. My mom knows the Lord. She grew up in church. She grew up in the South, down home, dirty Southern Baptist, grandmothers with spiritual gifts, sisters with spiritual gifts. Like, my mom knows the Lord. She knows the word. She knows the Lord, but she's also very worldly when it comes to that. She's not one that will wait on the Lord. She is one that will go ahead of the Lord in anything and everything. And she's been whipped for it. She's had her struggles but she doesn't listen, especially me coming as her child. She's not going to listen to that. And my mom's my best friend. Like, I love the woman to death, but it's one of those things where there's still that different relationship, and the hierarchy isn't in that sense. So and I haven't told my mom this. I haven't told her that. So I haven't told her that was the repercussions of it, and all the nonsense and the repo and the finances and stuff was because I didn't do my due diligence and I wasn't being obedient. So but there's also nobody that I can talk to you about. Who do I tell? I don't have anybody to talk to about that. There's nobody I can be like, oh, hey, well, by the way, the Lord told me. That's my cross to bear at this point in time. I could tell my sister, but she kind of understands that. But I don't know. Like, I don't know who to tell. So I'm telling y'all. But that's my assignment for right now. I'm just asking the Lord to show me how exactly I'm supposed to go about this, because my stepfather has a surgery coming up, and it's going to be his second surgery within a year. And I was like concerned. And when she was telling me about this yesterday too, I was like, that's really what he's going to do right now? And then the Lord was like, yep, and he's not going to make it through. So, oh my God, I'm like devastated right now. I don't even know what to do. And I don't even know how she could fix it, though. With me telling her now, what is that going to do? My grandma's already passed on. So what in the world are you going to do to fix the situation? How can she fix that, Lord? I don't know. But that's my struggle for the day. I hope everybody has a blessed day. And anybody has any advice or words of encouragement or wisdom, that would be greatly welcomed. I appreciate you all. Love you. Bye.